And then somehow you think that this assistant should just know what that person did and can do it, even though all they did was watch, do shampoos, and maybe some blow dries. But they're probably really good at sweeping hair because that's what you need to learn.
What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about salon and shop practices that we would maybe like to see go away or evolve.
I like that word.
Evolve?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good word. We're also going to talk about innovation today. My name is Todd. I'm here with my wife and business partner, the one and only Jen Ford, or Jenny Hell, as peeps may know her from back in the day.
Back in the day.
So you got it like a delivery or something? Oh, no, we were having something serviced, and the guy asked if the email was correct.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's Jenny Hell? That's wrong. And I'm like, no, that's right.
In 2000, when I established my Yahoo account, there we are, 20-something years ago.
Well, your last name was Hellison.
Yeah, so that was my email.
Makes sense. All right, this episode is brought to you by our friends Ping Pong Design and Marketing, but we'll get there and tell you about them in a bit. All right, so let's kick off with innovation, and then we'll dive into some of the practices that I think if people would just let go of or let evolve, like I said earlier, or whatever, just take the next step, I think everyone would have a better time.
I would agree.
We'd all be having more fun. And that's what I'm into. All right, so one of the common claims that I hear is that the hair industry is constantly evolving. I couldn't disagree more with that statement. I think it sounds sexy and fun to say it.
It sure does.
But I don't think it's true. I just don't feel it. And I'm talking about the bulk of people here, not the few people that are sort of trailblazing and going off and doing things. I'm not talking about that. So why do I bring up innovation all the time? We talk about it with our staff. We talk about it with people that we mentor, everything, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think this is a fact. So innovation is what drives industries. Mm-hmm. Innovation drives entire societies and groups of people forward. And I don't think it should be glossed over.
Okay, I like this.
Like without innovation, there's no more inventions.
Right.
You're done. You're just there. We're good.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's what I picture.
Yeah.
Without innovation, there's no drive or like this hunger to explore and discover new things. And I feel like that's what humans are wired for. Ever since we were able to build things and travel, we were exploring land. Like it's in our nature. Now we've explored our planet, so we're going into space, right? It's like we always are trying
Planetary defense.
Yeah, that was cool the other day.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked it.
And when I say innovation, I'm not talking about completely blowing up your business or trying to demolish something. I'm talking about like kind of the opposite, right? So instead of like completely blowing up your business, that's not what I'm talking about with innovation. I'm talking about embracing things that would make your life easier,
right? Or
your clients' lives, or your business, or your staff, or whoever. So I'm not saying completely, because I think a lot of people think that that's what innovation means. Like, oh, it's always going to be something new. No, maybe not a major thing, but you should be like tinkering with your business and
constantly making changes
and trying to improve it.
Yeah. I think part of what happens, in my opinion, is change is difficult for a lot of people because it's scary, because it could go really well or it could go really bad. And how well are you at pivoting if it doesn't go as well as you thought? So a lot of times it may feel easier to just keep on the current path because it's the most comfortable. Maybe it's not the best decision, but I think it's what happens often. I also think if you don't get out of your salon world a lot and you think
when you say salon world, I don't think anybody outside of a salon would know what that means. What do you mean?
Just the salon that you work in.
So your
salon that you
said world,
run.
So that sounds a lot bigger.
Sorry, your salon that you are in, if you don't ever really step out of it, and I don't mean step out like go home, I mean step out and see what other salons are doing. So the only maybe
Gotcha.
the only information you have outside of the salon you're in is either what people around you say is happening or what's happening, what you see on social media. And none of those things are real. And I'll tell you why. Because people only show you what they want. So someone could say, the salon down the street, they're doing so good. You have no idea what so good to that salon is to your salon. It's irrelevant. But the reason why I'm saying that is because if able to innovate, you have to look at like what are the needs of your business and what's going to bring your business next level, not comparing it to the other businesses that are around you or the ones you see on social media. I also feel that, or maybe this is more like for me personally, like it's always in a sense easier to do something hard when you feel like you have a team of people all supporting it. But what's unfortunate is if you're the salon owner, you can't, I mean, I guess you can't really ask your whole team, like, what do you guys think? Because like, if you want to implement something, you're the leader, you kind of have to lead with like telling them not telling them in a bad way, but like, this is what's going to innovate our salon and bring it next level. And this is why. And then they're looking at you like, oh, that's cool. Tell me more. But if you just put it as a change, they might be so scared that they're not on board. And now you cower back because you're like, oh, I don't want to like ruffle their feathers. And now everybody's scared. So a lot of that's in approach and how you, I guess, deliver that innovation or the idea of innovation that you want to put forth in your salon.
Sure. I definitely think that you need a plan. Like you hit on it right there when you said you're gonna tell somebody what you're doing and then say, but here's why. Here's what it's gonna do for us. And I think that's what a lot of people miss.
The why is so important.
They might not know because they haven't tested it.
Right.
They haven't played around with it. Mm-hmm. So if it's a new piece of technology and you haven't used it, you have no business telling people what it's going to do.
Right, because you
don't used
know.
it. Now, if you've played around with it for a month or you did a free trial or whatever, and you're like, this fits, now you're armed with, I've already been using this.
Right.
I already know. And so when you go to your team or you go to somebody else to make a recommendation, you have a little more
You have some experience with it.
Right.
Yeah. That's why the pause, we talk about this often. You might have this great idea, but there's a pause that needs to happen before you tell the world. Because during that pause is where you play around with that new idea. You do different things to like experience with it. So you have some data to back it up and some confidence behind this idea that you now have played around with. And also, sometimes you have an idea and you put it out there and then you never actually do it. And people are looking at you like, I thought we were doing this. But it's because you didn't come up with the system or the plan for it first. So it kind of fell flat.
Yeah, people love to announce what they're like, kind
of like what they're doing before they're doing it.
I get so annoyed with the coming soon.
Yeah.
When people are like, coming soon. I'm like, this person posts coming soon for the last 3 years. Nothing's coming.
No. I
always get, not annoyed because you can do what you want. I'm not saying don't do something or do something. I'm just saying have some intent. But if they had everything worked out, they could just launch it. You don't have to do coming soon and then figure out what you're doing.
Right.
Like that's backwards. Why am I getting excited? You haven't done anything.
Right. I would say like for those people who love that like announcement part, I get it. But
wait till it's completed, then pick a date to launch and then do it's called marketing.
And your marketing could be rather than coming soon, you could use your social media to really like drive traffic there. Like, what do you think's coming next in our business? What do you think we're going to do? Like, get people to vote on that. You already know what it is, and you're about to launch your marketing play from there, but you're getting people more entertained and interested in it so that they're watching your stories for the information to come out.
Yeah, man, the devil's in the details. So if I know everything about a product that I'm launching, then I can tease those details.
Yes,
like a few weeks out, manner. I could say, how would you feel if I could solve this problem for you?
Right.
And people would be like, what? And I would be like, well, coming soon.
Right.
And then the next week I could be like, hey, remember we talked about this? Here's 3 things, that we're going to do with this product or whatever.
It all has a marketing play to it.
But if you don't have those details figured out first, you can't do that. Yes. So it's just coming soon. And then for 6 months, you're figuring stuff out and people forget about you.
Because that one day you were just really excited and we want to shout it from the rooftop.
We definitely need to try new things with an open mind, but we have to have an objective plan. So if things we try don't work out, we pivot, we continue, we move forward. We can't hide, we can't complain. You have to, instead of those things, learn and adjust. And I think you might have said this already, but we understand as business owners, not everything is supposed to work.
Right.
That's a big one. So love or hate doesn't matter. it was Elon Musk. He said, if the people on his teams aren't failing, there's not enough innovation happening.
I love that.
Because he understands the importance of trying things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this dude was blowing up rockets, but he was like, we'll get it.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get it and they ran out of money. And he was like, we'll figure out how to get more money. We can't stop.
I just had said this on one of the podcasts recently about, like, I think the word failure for a lot of people is a negative word when really it shouldn't be, because failure is learning. If you can look at the bright side of it, like what did you take out of it? What data did you collect? What systems can you put in place to make it better? Do you go back to the drawing board, or you're like, this really isn't a project I even want to invest my time in, right? Like there's so much good that can come out of that you can be proud of and that you at least tried. Because there's not a lot of people doing that are willing to fail and put that try in. So pat yourself on the back.
I failed at so many things.
Me too.
Still failing.
Daily.
I'm going to still fail at stuff because I'm going to still try stuff.
I had someone ask me the other day, she's a business owner and she was having a mental breakdown. And she's like...
And she turned to you instead of going to a therapist.
I think she has a therapist and she's got a lot. Yeah. I'm just her other person. But she's like, I don't know how you do it with all this. And I said, and I do this in my regular life and my salon life, I guess all of my lives. When I don't know what to do, I just smile. And she's like, that's fucking genius. And I just thought of the day, like, I'll be at Target and one of my kids are like literally saying, you're rude. And the other one's like, why don't you buy me this? And I'm just smiling because I can't say fuck you little kids right now. So I just smile and walk through and I'm like, it's going to be okay. So sometimes when you're failing, you just got to smile. Everything's going to be okay. Sometimes my smile's real and sometimes it's just like, I don't know what to do right now.
I catch myself laughing in those circumstances when I don't know what to do and I just laugh. It's happened before where like 4 things will break in a row, something lights on fire, kid falls over and smashes his head, and you just laugh.
Yeah.
Not at little Timmy. Don't laugh at little Timmy falling on his head, but you guys know what I mean.
Sometimes you just got to smile.
So the other part of innovation that I want to talk about before we move on to some of these bad practices or
practices we want to see evolving.
Dated concepts or whatever you want to call them. I keep seeing, and this is not just in the hair industry, but I keep seeing people that will post stuff or write things that are like, I'm going to disrupt this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone seems to be all about disruption lately. So it got me thinking like disruption versus innovation. And disruption for the sake of disrupting. Like if your plan, so there's actually a term called disruptive innovation. And when you fail to use it in like that, if you just are like, your plan is to just shake things up, and then what? You weren't planning on innovating. You weren't planning on settle. You weren't planning on like implementing anything. You were just going to break something.
Right.
Do you hear yourself?
You're really mad.
I don't understand. Me mad or them?
No, them.
Yeah.
I think right now a lot of people just get mad about just being mad.
You're just going to... That doesn't even make any sense. I was going to let it slide, but people are going to start questioning me.
I say it often too.
So yeah, disruption for the sake of disrupting isn't helping.
Yeah, disrupt and give us something new to try. Like, where are we going with that?
Right.
Like, why are we shaking it up? What's coming out of that?
Yeah, like, so that's the big part I think people miss is that there's disruptive innovation, and that's a thing. So here's a fun story for you. You probably heard it. Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, before they were Netflix. Well, the company was named Netflix, but they weren't what you thought of them, right?
They were a DVD.
Little red envelopes.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Then I think they had like the little kiosks at like gas stations and stuff. So they went to Blockbuster and they said, we think this is the future, delivering content to people. And Blockbuster had a study or something they had recently done, and they said, our customers enjoy going to the store. It's part of the experience. Fail. Mm-hmm. They laughed Netflix out of the room. Netflix said, that's fine.
You're cute. Boop you on the nose.
I think it took them 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
So it's
a marathon.
It's a long road to truly disrupt and sort of utilize that disruptive innovation, because what they did in that, they used to deliver the DVDs to your mailbox. Mm-hmm. Then they became streaming.
Right.
And they created a new market that killed Blockbuster. Why? Because Blockbuster was complacent.
And they weren't willing to
They
innovate.
just thought, if we sit here, but they could have purchased that company for pennies compared to what it's worth now.
Right. It's crazy.
Big miss. Big miss there. All right, you know what? Let's tell people about ping pong and then dive into this. So this episode is brought to you by our friends at Ping Pong Design and Marketing. If you want a new website or if you need help with a digital marketing campaign, reach out to Chris and his team. They are offering our audience a special discount. Go to the show note, click the link. You can get your first month for $1.
That is so amazing.
Yes.
Such a great opportunity.
Reach out to Chris. And if you have questions about it, about ping pong, let me know. I work with them. I can tell you. Chris can tell you more.
I can tell you a little bit.
All right, on to the rest of the show. So these are dated practices and concepts. And in my notes, I wrote to avoid. But if you're already doing them, that's not the best way to go about telling people. Just avoid it. Right? Because that would be disruptive without...
They're like, cool, how? What do I do?
Right.
What's my solution?
That would be disrupting without giving them...
Innovation.
or the knowledge. So...
We're not about that.
No, not at all. I want everyone to do well, and you can. So the first major mistake, and this is more of just an idea, is that we need to be treating people better. We need to be treating staff better. We need to be treating clients better.
I agree.
And so, for example, treating clients as an inconvenience, like on social media, posting, whatever.
Passive aggressive,
when show your appointment, I lose money. Yeah, we get it, Sally. Sit down. You could have done something way more productive with that time than bitch on social media.
Yeah.
You got to stop treating clients as an inconvenience. They have lives. Stuff comes up.
Right.
If someone is sick and they don't come in, that used to be celebrated. Mm-hmm. Wow, thanks for not coming in.
Thanks for not getting me sick.
Now it's, Are you
even really sick? I've seen that a lot of that stemmed from COVID because people were using that as an excuse.
Yeah.
So people got mad.
Yeah.
I get it because it was something you couldn't really fight back on because if they had COVID, there was nothing you could do. So I feel like on a style aside, they started getting bitter with the excuses, and then it came into questioning that, which may not have happened before, but that came out of COVID.
Yeah, whatever it is and whatever people are thinking in your head, you're probably wrong. We're often wrong.
I know.
Like you think someone just didn't show up for their appointment because they want to screw you over or because they don't want their hair done. That's probably not right. Something probably happened. So
and you can go ahead.
That's okay. Go.
You could just change a practice in your business to deal with those people too.
Yes. That's what we do.
Right. If someone's done that to you a few times and you're like, I don't believe even what they're saying, whatever they're calling in, just say, I no longer accept you as a client. Like, stop being stressed out about it.
I don't even tell people. I just shut off their account.
Yeah, we just restrict them.
See you later. Because I'm actually saving them time. You don't book with me. You're wasting your time.
Find someone else.
You're not going to come in. So that's treating clients as an inconvenience, and you can't do that. It's not about you. That's another thing that this industry does. It's not in my notes, but I think with social and all the information that gets shared, people think this is about them. Mm-hmm. They're like, I'm an artist. Respect my time. This is me. I'm me. Me. Yeah, that's great, Sally. Now you don't have any clients.
Yeah.
Because you are a jerk. Or at least that's how you're coming across.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about you. We're in the service-based industry. You provide a service.
Yes.
Okay? People are paying for that. Just treat them like human beings.
And if you can't wrap your mind around that, I will say there's a great book. Todd, you have it. Mm-hmm. It's all about the guest.
Yep.
You can drop that in the show notes because that is a book that I think might let you...
It's based
if you need a mindset change or to pivot your mindset, that might help you open your mind to that and look at it differently.
Yeah, Stephen DiFilippo, the chef and owner of
Davio's, right?
Davio's, yep.
Yeah.
Has a bunch of locations, and it's a really, really fun book full of stories from the restaurant industry, but you can take that and apply it to anything.
I think it's great to read books out of your industry and then
Yeah, you
apply
should.
it. We've
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah, you
but
should.
I think if the guest experience is something you never really thought about, or this is kind of resonating with you, you're like, oh, I do that. And maybe you're fine doing that. That's yours to do. But if you're like, you know what, I need to switch that. Like, why am I getting so aggravated, or what's happening? That book might just give you some different scenarios in a different business setting that you can implement in yours and switch that for yourself. Does it make sense?
It's a lot of words. I got
I'm
lost
pretty
there.
wordy today.
That's okay. The next thing I want to talk about is not client based, but this one goes out to the owners out there. Why are we treating employees poorly?
Oof.
Why? Is it like a cool badge of honor thing
Don't know.
to treat people bad?
So
Because the more stories I hear, before you cut me off with a whole bunch of words,
I'll try to
just
not
kidding.
be
I'm
wordy.
just playing. I don't care. But I keep hearing stories and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That happens. And every time I hear one, I'm like, okay, so there's more. How much stuff can be going on?
Yeah. It is interesting because I have seen some people that like were treated bad, went to open their own salon, and they, instead of switching it, they treat people the way they were treated because they're like, this is how I was treated. Like, so someone deserves to be treated the same. Isn't that why you left? Like, I don't know why that happens. But,
Somebody should be treated better under your leadership and
Yeah.
guidance because you were treated poorly.
I would agree, but I have
But
seen
here
a lot
we
of
are.
situations.
Let's be
that-
spiteful.
Yeah, like, well,
You
I had
know,
to do that, so you do.
A lot of people think that across all industries, and even not in industries. Like, for example, when we were having voting last time around, the town was voting on expanding something for the school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some things for the library. And people were like, well, I didn't have that,
Right. I
so
saw
you
that.
shouldn't. And I'm like, yeah, we can't move forward as a society, as a town,
If that's your mindset.
if that's your mindset.
Yeah. It's a
Sorry,
horrible way
Greg.
to think. Right.
Jesus. Yeah, no kids should have access to books because your kids didn't have
Yeah.
access to books.
That comes up often.
That's progress.
But I think there are those salon owners that I guess that's what they get at. Or the other side I've seen, they get salty because they've got the staff that's sitting around and they're not growing and they're paying them hourly. So they think now, well, since I'm paying you, you can go do my errands for me because I'm paying you either way. So you're going to do something with that time. And then for whatever reason, that kind of starts to just become the norm in that salon. I'm not saying it's right,
That's insane.
but I know that it's been done.
I would just leave the second somebody asked me to run an errand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't mind helping out. Like, if I'm...
Yes, there's difference in that than like, can you go do my oil change or my exchanges or my grocery shopping?
I
That's
was
what I'm
going to say,
talking
if
about.
I'm an employee at a salon or whatever, and they're like, oops, like something got screwed up. I need paper towels or toilet paper. Can you
Yes.
stop on your way to work?
Right.
Yeah, of course. I'll help out. But
Yeah.
if you're having me do an oil change in your car, I'm going to take your car. I'm going to fucking park it somewhere. Then I'm going to come grab my car and leave. And you're going to play Find My Car. Because piss off. I
Yeah,
just
those
don't
are,
like...
those are real scenarios, and I can say that they're not like that old of practices, and it's really sad.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So how about this one? How about this one blows my mind too, because you're taking advantage of people that are naive. But what is this making people like assist for like years? Why? Why would you as a business owner want to take someone on and not put them on the floor? Hey, let's have this person that's a draw on the business that could be generating income and make them wait years.
So I'll tell you why. Because what they do is they put the assistant with their busiest person who has so many clients that they can be busier generating a certain amount of money and doing 3 people at one time, 4 people at one time, and the assistant can do all the other little stuff. And then it's bringing in a ton of money for that stylist who probably is complaining if they don't have an assistant. So it's making your top stylist busier and happier, and you're not worried about the assistant because they're replaceable. Because you weren't ever really bringing that person on to make them a stylist.
Until that top person leaves to go rent a booth because they think they can keep 100% of their money.
And then somehow you think that this assistant should just know what that person did and can do it, even though all they did was watch, do shampoos, and maybe some blow dries. But they're probably really good at sweeping hair because that's what you need to learn. That was
Sweeping hair?
sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what? I can teach you that in like 10 seconds.
I
Here's
was
a broom,
being-
you sweep it.
I was being funny. Yeah.
Another one that has to do, well, these all have to do with staff and
I don't even know why I'm answering
vice
you and
versa,
telling you
but-
why, because you know.
No, I get it. I just don't understand.
But I think, yeah.
So that's not a long-term approach. And eventually
No.
your little structure that you've built there is going to collapse because one of your top people leaving cripples you.
Mm-hmm. Or the assistant leaving. Now you've
got two people that are irritated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was going to say non-competes. These are still a thing.
I don't
Why
get that.
do you want someone that's not happy at your business?
And I'll tell you this.
I thought you were going to tell me why we have non-competes.
No,
yeah, I get it.
No, I wasn't. It's bizarre to me that for some stylists, they do work right now. Like they're miserable. They want to leave. I know one that wanted to come to our salon and couldn't because of the non-compete. And I'm like, this is crazy to me. You want to work somewhere and you can't. Now you got to go 3 towns over. That's just, I don't love that at all. It's not right.
Maybe, but I also think that people should take a little ownership. One, don't sign a non-compete and just be clear. I'm not signing this.
Right.
2, if you have a lawyer, which you should, or your family, somebody has a lawyer that can look over something for you, even if you don't have a lot of money, somebody will look over something for you because they're a decent human being.
Yeah.
Find somebody. I digress. When you sign that non-compete, are you stuck in it or can a lawyer get you out of it?
Right.
Who
you need
wrote
to know
it?
that.
Did someone just write that on their own? Because I've seen people get out of non-competes. I've gotten out of non-competes.
Yeah. Right. I do remember that. Actually found a loophole in that one. So I also...
Yeah, because the people wanted to be a jerk. So I was like, okay, because you want to be a jerk, now I'm going to do this.
So another situation, and this
and
is...
just so everyone knows, it was 100% legal.
Yeah.
A lawyer told me how to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have done it. Crossed the line, was a jerk. Now I'm going to beat you.
Mm-hmm. I was independent at the time, and the person wanted to move their salon. So they wanted us all to sign a year non-compete. And I was very forward in saying no, and this is why. I'd love to come with you. I think it's great, but I don't sign them. I'm not going to sign it. I don't know where my life's going to take me in a year, and it's just not for me. And I'll tell you this, next day, guess what? Her husband was there and my stuff was packed up. You're
a lot nicer than me. I wouldn't have given any reasons. I would have just said no.
Yeah, it was a younger version of me, very different. I wouldn't today either. But so there's this other part where almost somebody has your job at stake. And so I'm saying this because, yes, it's scary and it didn't help that my stuff was packed up. But if you are somewhat present in your industry or in your town, you can easily pivot. I can tell you this, my stuff was packed up. I had clients at 12, and by 12, I was at another salon ready to go, and somebody was helping me.
Yeah,
even if it was short term or not, they were like, I will help you.
Packing your stuff up made it more convenient for you to move.
And I'm sure it pissed that person off, but I'm like,
thanks
you're
for packing
not.
My shit.
Yeah. So I had it. Obviously, I had to move. My clients, like, they actually laughed. They felt bad for me, and it was just like another joke, like whatever. But I was up the road in like 2 seconds, and actually, that was the opportunity that got me my first salon because they wanted to leave, and I took over their space. Good and bad, whatever. But yes, negatives can come out of that if you decide not to. Hopefully, it's when you're first starting and not somewhere in the middle of your career like mine was. That's a shitty situation. But there's always something better out there. Don't sign them.
Yeah, I could rant about non-competes forever, but I'm sort of bored with the topic because it's silly.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a non-compete as a business owner, you're a bully.
Yep.
That's really what it breaks down to. Or you're entitled and you think,
or
I shouldn't have competition.
Or you're scared because at one point...
Well, bullies are, that's why they...
Oh, because at one point we were at my other salon, but we were scared. It was scarcity mindset, bad advice, but either way, don't do that.
Nothing makes somebody want to do something more than when you tell them not to do it.
I
know how you tell your
know.
kids not to touch the stove or not to play with the scissors or whatever? Guess what they want to do? They want to go touch it because
the
they're
minute
curious.
someone says no to me, I'm like, I'm doing it.
Yes, if you tell me I can't go work somewhere, guess what I'm doing?
Now I'm doing it.
Calling my lawyer and figuring out how to work there.
Agreed.
How about this one? How about we don't deal with problems on the floor?
Oh, please.
So I've heard from the smallest things like, staff complaining about stuff to the owner or the manager. I've heard that happening on the floor to full on, all out screaming matches between owners and employees during operating hours. First of all, why are you screaming at people?
Yeah.
as an employee or an owner.
Yeah, not okay.
Just cut ties, man.
Yep.
Like, if I feel the need to scream at somebody in public, first of all, I would be completely embarrassed. And second, I would be like, why is this person in my life? Oh, I can control that. And I would just Control Alt delete them from my life. Problem solved. Gone. See ya.
Yep.
It's not professional. And if you can deal, like, if you can figure out, if you're doing that and you can figure out how to not, you're going to have a more pleasant work environment.
Yeah. That workspace should be treated very professionally, like high standards on that one.
All right. We talk about this one too, but with innovation, booking on paper, it seems like a huge chunk of people still do that. And if you're listening, look, you're into podcasts, you're into technology, so this might not be you, and that's great. But a lot of people out there are still doing it. And I'm not just talking about what I see randomly. Like, Jen, you're in a lot of salons.
That book on
paper. Book on fucking paper.
They're afraid.
That is not convenient for anybody. It's a control thing and a micromanaging thing. That's what it's got to be.
So I think some of it is that people do get afraid of technology. I've had owners ask me, and they're just afraid of, I think there's just the unknown. So that's why. And I'll say to them, like, we get a lot of online bookings 6 a.m. when we're not open. Like, they wake up that morning, whatever. They're like, I want my hair done. We're not open. So if they left us a voicemail, we wouldn't be able to even get back to them till we were open, which is later in the day, right? So, and a lot are like 11 or 12 at night, because that's when they're finally put their kids to bed, can sit down and do something for themselves. And here's the other part. Most online bookings, you can alert the people they're booking with. So you just have to educate your staff to, check when something's booked. A lot of people even make a note, like, I booked this. This is what I'm looking to have done. Let me know if it's something different. Or the staff member can look at it and be like, oh, I know I need more time. Like, there's lots of ways to manage that. Like, somebody could book on paper and still screw up how they book it. But the online it's a very seamless. It's got so many more positives than a negative or two that could come up, like, randomly.
I'd argue that you're at more risk on paper than you are on a software. What if you lose that book, for example?
Oh,
you're just done.
Done.
If I lose my laptop, I just log in on a different device.
Yeah. And also, you want your staff, like, to be able, like, to check what time their first one is, or they might want to look at their day and plan it out. Like,
I think some owners might not want that, though.
Yeah.
That's that micromanaging sort of, I
really
need to control this.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
They can see everything.
Which is wild to me. You can still see everything.
I know. It's like, it doesn't matter.
No. I want to create opportunities for our team so they have access to everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, book it. If you need to move a client because you're like, you know what, on Friday, if this person slides up a little, I can get out of here early. We're going away for the weekend. Do that. But if I don't want you calling me to go in the book to check your schedule to then me give you a number, or worse, me call the person. Like,
yeah, your schedule, and
you just
most stylists want to manage that. Like, there's a part of them that understands what they can do within that. So they should have the freedom and power to do so.
I also think that the way that the world is moving is just, it's digital. Like, we're online. And look, we order pizza online. Right? You go to the app, you go to someone's website, you type in what you want, and then it delivers. You don't even have to call anybody. Now, we shop, like, everything's online. Look at these companies. Like, we just made some purchases for the dog and for the kids and whatever, and it was all online. I didn't go to any stores.
No.
It's just providing a level of convenience for your clients, potential clients, and for your staff. And if your argument is, well, they'll book the wrong appointment, well, then you need to question yourself and figure out why you're not doing consultations.
Yeah.
You just let people book, and then what? You just don't talk to them about it? If they booked it incorrectly, you just tell them.
Right.
And then you say, like, hey, we're not going to have time to do all this today. You booked a 3-hour appointment. We're going to need 5 for that. So here's what we could do today. And if you want to come back in X weeks, then we could do this. Or even if you want to come back tomorrow, we can finish doing this or whatever.
It's just a conversation.
Or if, you don't have a scarcity mindset and you're not afraid, you could say, you could wait till tomorrow or whenever, and we can do it all in one go.
Yep.
But that's hard for people to let money walk out the door
Right.
because they just assume it's not coming back. Again, scarcity mindset.
Yep.
We touched on technology. I have in my notes avoiding technology. Look, if you can find a way to embrace technology and utilize it and leverage it to make your day-to-day tasks easier, doesn't that excite you?
It should.
And you mentioned fear earlier, like people are afraid of technology. They fear technology. Why? There are 20 million case studies of how it's improved businesses.
I don't know why.
So you say,
I told you why.
You say, I don't want to have online booking because I'm afraid of, like, what if it doesn't work? Or what if clients book the wrong thing? Okay, well, here's, 158 people that utilize that technology that are telling you that's not going to happen.
Right. Or, I mean, you can have human error when they're booking on paper too. So
Yeah.
You can argue that either way.
One wrong phone number digit and you're just screwed, right?
I don't know why people don't embrace it. I saw it firsthand when I was working for the color management company for a little bit, and I was so not well received going into salons to talk about a way to make them easier to store formulas and waste less for the environment. And I was blown away at how little people wanted to even try it. Like, it was just
That's wild.
insane to me.
Like, here's a way to improve the environment.
Yeah.
I don't care. Here's a way to store formulas so you don't have to fumble around looking through
too much work.
A recipe thing.
Takes too long.
Meh.
Yep.
Here's a whole bunch of money you can save. I'll be in the office.
Yep.
That's insane.
It was so bad that I ended up having to leave because I couldn't handle. I love the product. We use it at our salon.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely amazing. Everybody should have some sort of color management system in your salon if you're doing colors. But the way I was treated, I had never felt so small and so, like I said, not well received that I had to quit. I couldn't do it. I couldn't believe how much adults were acting like children. Like worse than bad children. It was bad. But that's the world that people don't want to embrace the technology when it will help them in every way, shape, and form.
All of this sort of leads back to complacency, which is a concept that I don't even know where I want to go with this because there's so much to it. You know what happens is it's like what you said earlier. You are at your salon and you weren't treated great. So you leave your salon and then you just build that salon, but with different colors and your fancy new logo that you got on Instagram from that dude that's like, yo, you need a logo for your barbershop.
I got you.
You can't be complacent. You have to constantly be innovating, constantly shaking things up. I'm not saying make changes. Again, I'm saying explore.
Yeah.
Discover.
Yeah.
What else is out there?
Take those phone calls. Let people at least explain it to you.
That's wild that people are they think if they just stay the course. Look at what happened to Blockbuster.
Yeah, don't be that.
Don't Blockbuster yourself. Yeah, I don't know. We could do episodes and episodes on complacency. You've got to get out of your own way because eventually what happens is, so if you just stay the course, the world is changing, whether you like it or not. No one cares what you like.
Don't get left behind.
You're going to get left behind if you just keep doing what you're doing now. You have to change things. People don't like changing their prices. You have to. Why? Because the dollar is worth less and less every year.
It's just how
so
it
you
goes.
have to raise your prices to reflect inflation at the very least, and you're not. I guarantee you most people are not doing that. There should be a systematic price increase for businesses. Cost of goods goes up. Your products go up. So what do? Lose that money? You're already not making profit, Sally.
Right, Sally.
You can't be, what, Savannah? Do we need a new name?
I used the word Sally. The same name.
I used Savannah in a blog post, Savannah Salon, recently. Yeah, because I was like, I always use Sally.
I always use Sally when I'm teaching. It's so funny.
So yeah, you've got to explore stuff.
Yeah, step up your game. Try something new. Whether it works or doesn't, then try something else.
So you were talking about this the other day, and I've seen other people talk about it too, but surprises at the desk.
Okay.
Like, if you just figured your shit out, your client shouldn't be surprised at the desk.
You mean like the ticket total?
Yeah,
Surprise?
whatever. Ticket total, sure. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Look,
The run away
if
from the
you're-
desk because you don't want to tell them how much it is.
how did they
you
not
didn't have a consultation.
How did they
about
not
price.
already agree on the price during your consultation?
Somehow
If
you
you're
didn't.
not telling them the price and they don't know the price, look, if someone books a haircut and they book online because you have software, it tells them the price.
Yeah.
They know. They're aware.
The first salon I worked in, they would be like, when we would do like big services, like, I don't know what to charge because there wasn't a system, obviously.
How do you not know what the fuck
I don't know.
to charge?
I whatever. I have no idea. It was a long time ago. And they're like, well, if they really like it, charge this. But if they don't really seem that happy, then charge this.
That is insane.
I know. It's a real story. And I'm sure there's people out there right now that can relate to that. That was real life.
Insane.
And that's how I was mentored. Sorry.
Is that business close?
No, it was the first salon I worked at.
Holy smokes.
Or chain. Or big name
That
salon.
location's closed.
Yeah. That's how people did it. I know that's insane.
Wowzers.
Yeah. They booked on paper then.
So I was working somewhere and I've told this story before, but they said, hey, go wait at the front door for your, because I had an introduction, right? And so I said, good idea. Like it's intimidating walking into a gym. So if someone's there smiling and waiting, like, hey, we're just going to talk today about your problems and I'm going to see if I can help you. Like, let's just sit down, have a coffee or whatever, have a good time and just get to know each other and see if this is even a relationship worth exploring and moving forward with. And one of the owners looked me dead in the eye and was like, I don't give a shit about any of that. Try to spot what car they pull up in. If they pull up in the Beamer, it's 85 an hour. If they pull up in a van, minivan or a station wagon or something, it looks run down. Try to get 45 out of them. And
Insane.
I quit.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
the next day. I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
First of all, that's not me. There's no integrity in that. Your pricing shouldn't be something that's hidden and then based on what a car a person drives or their happiness. Imagine
or the purse they carry. That was one in the salon.
Imagine basing a price on someone's the perceived emotion. Mm-hmm. I would always pay $0 because I have that resting bitch face. They would be like, he's miserable. $0 today, sir. Just, you had a coupon. Like what?
You don't look like you're happy with your service. It's $0.
No, I'm miserable. I'm gonna go to the grocery store and just. Can I have this for free? I'm not happy.
I'm just telling as it is. That's what I went through.
Those cucumbers just weren't up to par. Subpar cukes. I want it for free. So no surprises at the front desk. If you hear whining in the background, I just heard our dog. We've got a puppy over here. All right. So I have two more sort of thoughts that I think people need to stop. And this one is you need to stop this. This is not my opinion. This is the opinion of literally the US government. Stop operating illegally.
Yes.
If you are withholding pay, if you are trying to like screw with your taxes, if you're doing any of that stuff, if you're hiding tips, all that stuff, you are eventually going to get caught. I know everyone's like, I'll never get caught.
You will. I just hired like 85 something, whatever people.
Yeah, like 87,000 IRS agents.
You're getting caught. Like you might want to like step up your game here. It's kind of a big deal.
So I was talking to Kurt, who's our accountant, and he was saying that I think on average, the fines you pay are going to be double or 3 times what you would have just paid if you just paid.
Right.
Do you want to close that door or something so we don't have to listen to barking? And we're back. So if you're not operating legally, you might want to consider stopping doing that because one, you're ridiculous. What are you, Tony Soprano? Like, stop it. Come on. Just do the right thing.
Yeah.
And
it's not worth the risk.
Yeah. I don't understand why people that aren't making money want to risk making less money.
Yeah. I don't know.
If you're not profitable, it's not because your taxes are, that's not the reason. Yeah. It's because you're not accounting for them.
Right.
That's the reason. Dear Lord. All right. And the last thing I had on my notes here was just following someone on social who claims to be successful. A lot of people I think out there are here's the deal. And this is my opinion because I could be wrong, but I see people on social that are posting business advice and I'm like, do they even own a business? Because that does not make sense.
I've seen some recently too, and I'm like, and I've seen some questions asking and they're not getting answered. I'm like, you're just lying.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
I forget what it was. It wasn't the hair industry. It was something else. I wish I could remember. But somebody had posted like, do this and you'll see this or whatever. Maybe it was like a social media guru. And they were like, I help businesses gain traction and increase their followers or whatever. And they had like 17 followers. And I'm like, do you even know how to do that?
Right.
Like, have you even tried it? Because
clearly
it didn't work.
It's not working for yourself.
I don't care about how many people follow you on social media because I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make a living off of social media.
Right.
And for everyone that's going to say, yeah, but that's how you market. No, that's one piece of how you market.
Right. That's why you have to have multiple different streams of that.
Yeah. That's a different podcast too. But
yeah.
All right. I think we've been rambling for long enough. If you want to hit us up or talk about any of this stuff, do that.
We're here.
Yeah, reach out. Get on our mailing list.
Book in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll do all that fun stuff and let's get out of here.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Bye.